The Entrepreneur's Library, episode 142.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Library, the only book-centric podcast that reviews all the top-selling business books and shares authors' perspective firsthand. This is your resource to finding the next great book that will enable you to grow personally and professionally. Welcome your host, Wade Danielson.
Welcome back to the EL. Today we have Guy Kawasaki, author of The Art of Social Media. Welcome, Guy, and thank you for joining us on the Entrepreneur's Library.
Pleasure to be here.
Will you take just a moment before we take a deep dive into your book and introduce yourself? Tell us just a little bit about you personally.
Sure. My name is Guy Kawasaki. I am currently the Chief Evangelist of a Sydney-based online graphics tool company called Canva, C-A-N-V-A. Prior to this, I advised the CEO of Motorola for a year. I was the evangelist and chief evangelist of Apple. I've started several companies, and I'm a writer and a speaker. I've written 13 books.
Excellent. So, Guy, thank you for sharing that first off. And now let's jump right into your newest book, The Art of Social Media, which was just made available for purchase in December 2014. And, Guy, we're going to move quickly, but we're here to cover the top question that our listener / future reader would like to get answered.
Okay.
And the first one is, what was the inspiration behind writing The Art of Social Media?
Royalty.
The royalties?
That always throws people. Well, basically, I wanted to enable people to use social media as this fantastic marketing tool. And this is just a great time to be an entrepreneur and an innovator and a marketer because we have ways to get the word out fast, free, and everywhere. Like when I started in the software business, you had to go to Comdex and you had to advertise in the Wall Street Journal and you had to suck up to reporters. And this is like a whole new world now. And I think that truly an entrepreneur is limited by his or her attitude in terms of, would I work hard? And will I push the boundaries of social media? But it's not money. It's not resources. Money and success on social media, I think I don't know if they're inversely related, but I would say that's a pretty good assumption. In other words, the more money you spend on social media, the less good you'll do.
So there's so many books coming out these days that entrepreneurs are inundated with. I mean, if you look up on Amazon, there might be 150 that come out every single month, and just on entrepreneurship, that's not leadership, that's not social media, and that's why this second question I believe is important. It's what makes your book different from others regarding the same or similar topic.
Many of the other books about social media are at like a 50,000-foot view. They're written with what I call duh-isms, like you need to engage your followers. Well, duh. You need to be honest. Duh. You need to be open. Duh. You need to be active. Duh. I just gave you the gist of almost every social media book. So my book or our book is not at the 50,000-foot level. It's more at like a 1,000-foot level. If you were to use an airplane analogy, there's the stealth bomber or the B-1 bomber flying at 50,000 feet, and there's the A-10 Warthog that's at 1,000 feet. We're the A-10 Warthog. So, people will write books that say you need a good avatar. Well, duh, as opposed to, geez, I thought I needed a lousy avatar. Thank you for telling me I need a good one. That, right there pays for the book. So at 1,000-foot level, we tell you, okay, this is how you make a good avatar. The light should be from the front of your face, not the back of your face. That your face should be, most of the entire picture. And your face should be asymmetric, not smack dab in the middle. And it should be only your face, not you and your surfboard, your Mustang, your kids, your dog, your guinea pigs, just your face. And so that's the level we're at through the entire book. So if you want to read a book full of duh-isms about you need to get on social media. It's the new marketing platform. You need to be open and transparent and engaging. Don't buy this book. If you want to know how to make a great profile, great avatar, what service to use, how to post, how to comment, how to curate, how to generate, how to do a hangout on air, this is the book for you.
I'm glad you brought that up, because after reading this book, the first thought in my mind, and even if you just read the first chapter, is how thorough it is. But thorough can sometimes bring complexity, and it's the exact opposite. It's the most thorough but simple book that I think I've picked up. It's amazing, which is huge for me. I'm a very simple-minded person, so you got to lay it out pretty black and white. And so this book is right up my. And then you talk about short and sweet, but thorough. That almost just doesn't even sound like it goes together, but it does. And the way you broke it down into the individual, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 was fantastic. And that kind of leads to my next question, which is, how do you suggest the reader engage with this book? Is this a book that you meant to be read from front to back, or that they can jump in, jump out, cherry picking information as needed?
In a perfect world, I think someone will rip through this book in maybe 90 minutes. In 90 minutes, you could read the whole book. And you would probably dog ear some pages, because some pages, you already knew how to make a great avatar, so you can skip that part, but you didn't know that there was this great source for curated information, so you dog ear that page. I don't think you should use it. Well, to use a writing analogy, there's the Chicago Manual of Style, right? And that's 600 pages long. And one day you're writing, you need to know, like, how do you properly write 50%? Is it 50 with the percent sign? Is it 50 PERCENT? Is it FIFTY PERCENT? Okay, so that's a very specific question. So if you went to the Chicago Manual of Style, it would tell you, it's actually 50 and percent spelled out. So that is one way to use it. So if you wake up one morning and say, I really need a better avatar, you will find that section on better avatar. But I think it's better to use it more like a book called The Elements of Style by Strunk and White, which gives you sort of still at the 1,000, 2,000 foot view, but it gives you sort of the big picture. This is why you need to use the active voice. This is why you need to keep your sentences short. So it's still very tactical, but it's good to get an overview for the totality of what's involved in social media.
So, Guy, now that we know the purpose, a little bit of background behind the book, and definitely some differentiators, let's take a deep dive into the content itself. And really, I want to just, I guess proverbially, hand you the mic and allow you the freedom to just take the next 5, 8, even 10 minutes to really go through some of the content, or really allow that future reader to know what they can expect to get out of the book.
I have to say, and don't get me wrong, I am a marketer. I mean, if you cut my veins, it'll come out marketing, okay? But I don't think it should take 8 minutes to explain a book or a company or a product or anything. I mean, it's just completely contrary. I mean, I guess it's okay if you're in an elevator in a 200-story building and you're getting in on floor 1 and you're going to be with this person till floor 200, you got 8 minutes. But man, I don't know an elevator ride that takes 8 minutes, and I don't, the odds are the person's not going to get off on the 200th floor. So even if it took 8 minutes, you don't have 8 minutes. So, let me give you the 30-second thing for this book.
Excellent.
So this book is an extremely tactical, practical book to help you start, understand, and get you on the path to mastering social media as a marketing tool. Okay, it is not to help you make more friends, and I mean lowercase friends, not friends in the sense that Facebook uses it. It's not about that. It's not about being how to update your college buddies and your family about pregnancies and births and that kind of stuff. This is a book that is meant for a business person to use social media as a platform. Extremely practical and tactical. I would be disappointed if you went through the book, which has over 100 tips, and did not say at least 20 times, oh yeah, I got to fix my avatar. I got to fix my profile. This is a great tool that Guy mentioned that can do what I've always wanted to do. Um, I'm all about implementation. I mean, entrepreneurs truly understand that entrepreneurship is hand-to-hand combat, right? I mean, you can read these things in Harvard Business Review that say, well, you have to get the long-term strategy available. You have to like figure out in 5 years what do you want to be. I don't know any entrepreneurs who are sitting around thinking, oh, in 5 years what I want to be. I'm like, the entrepreneurs I know are thinking like, worst case, they're thinking, well, 5 months, will we ship? And in 5 days, will we still have payroll? And in 5 minutes, will that email come in saying, I'm gonna buy your stuff? I mean, I think that's the time frame of most entrepreneurs. And so that's our time frame too.
So, Guy, you did a fantastic job of and I agree with you. It's very tough to give that long of an elevator pitch.
Well, wait, I give you. Can I just interrupt for a second?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would make the case that when you interview people for your show, and you say, okay, you can have up to 8 minutes to explain your product, your service, your book. That's kind of a good litmus test. And they really take 8 minutes. You should probably not have their person on the show.
How long, going off that, how long do you think it should take?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
30
the perfect
seconds.
Elevator pitch.
So I could do it in like 5. I like just the art of social media will enable you to kick butt on social media. Boom, done. That's it.
This next question then will work perfectly for you because it is really it's meant to wrap up the book in about the biggest nutshell. And it's if the reader could only take away one concept, principle, or action item of your entire book, everything that you did discuss with us, what would you want that to be?
Of the entire book, you mean one?
Yeah, so like you said, there's 123, I think, plus tips in there. But maybe it's just maybe your one concept or action item is general. What do you want someone to get out of your book?
That social media is not as big a mystery as you might think. It is blocking and tackling and experimenting. Don't be afraid of making mistakes because everybody makes mistakes. Whether you're United Airlines, Procter and Gamble, everybody makes mistakes. Don't worry about it. Just dive in there and make it work.
So, Guy, we had a question actually. We had an audience question. It's from Joe Schultes, and his question is: what is the best and most effective way to catch and keep the attention of prospective buyers in social media? And he was just kind of prefacing that he's in he uses social media for his real estate company.
Okay, so what you want to do is you want to position yourself as someone who's trustworthy, likable, and competent. And the way you do this is, big surprise, not by constantly pimping yourself. So the way you do this is by providing value. So if I were a real estate broker, okay, I think real estate is all about word of mouth. It's, who did you use to list your house? Did you like him or her? Did they help you stage the house? All that kind of stuff. And who did you use to buy the house? Did they represent you? Did they negotiate on your behalf? I don't think, you just go to Google and you type in real estate broker, Silicon Valley, and you pick the first one, right? So you ask your friends. So social media is a way to put this process of word of mouth on steroids. And so if I were a real estate broker, I would be posting stuff to earn the right to promote properties every once in a while. So what would make me earn that right? Well, how about Money Magazine runs an article about this is what the new tax code changes means to home ownership. Or Real Simple, the magazine, runs a thing about this is how to winterize your home. Or the San Jose Mercury has just created a list of the top high school, intermediate school, and elementary schools in the Bay Area, right? The Money Magazine also runs a thing about how to keep your closing costs down. And so all of those things are useful and interesting to a homeowner, a potential homeowner. And so you say, Guy posts all this great stuff. Seems like he's competent. Seems like he's trustworthy. He's not just constantly pimping himself. So, why don't I contact him and see if he'll, be my broker, if I like him enough to be my broker, something like that. So that's what I would do.
That's excellent. Guy, I kind of have a personal question as well. And it goes along with, in the very beginning, you talk about your team, you and Peg, and how it's like 24. And and I love, on 67 where it says Peg your post, and you
Yeah.
write down, all that different kind of stuff. And then you say, honestly, Peg does even more than this in her blog, but a full account would make your head explode. which I believe actually 1 through 10 actually made my head explode already. But what do you suggest for those that are looking to really take social media to the next level? Do you suggest that they have a combination, that big picture person, and then also that Peg that has the
Yeah.
detailed?
I think that's unrealistic. You have to understand, not that I'm not saying I'm him, okay, but I'm just using an analogy.
Mhm.
So, and I also realize that he's in an interesting part of his career. He's had an interesting few years, but I think this metaphor still kind of works, okay? So, I have Peg. Peg is like my golf coach and caddy, right? Because in a sense, I'm like Tiger Wood. I'm in the business of professional golf. I need a golf coach, a strength coach, a nutritional coach. I need someone to caddy for me. I need all that, right? So Peg is all that for me. Okay. But most people are not Tiger Woods. Most people are playing golf recreationally or, semi-seriously. And so it is not true that to enjoy the game of golf, you need all the stuff and people that Tiger Woods does. And so even for this real estate broker who is trying to use social media for his practice, I can tell you that you can do what I said in roughly half an hour a day. Now, what I'm asking you to do is take it and invest half an hour a day in marketing. Don't think of it as in social media. Think of it as marketing, because for a real estate broker and for many small businesses, social media is marketing. It's not something else. It is marketing. And so, is it too much to ask to invest half an hour a day in marketing your career? Boy, I hope not. Is it too much to ask an entrepreneur to invest half an hour a day? And, invest half an hour a day, try it for 2 months. And if it doesn't work, guy's wrong. Okay, what can I say? You blew 10 or 15 bucks on my book. But what if I'm right? That's the game you have to play.
Absolutely. And so, Guy, there's no doubt in my mind that this book will, even though you say it's simple, I think a lot of people don't see it as simple, and they have to make a paradigm shift. And I think that they will when they see, again, how thorough and simple this book is. And that leads into our next and actually our last question, which is, if there was only one book you could recommend to our listeners based on the way it's impacted your life or created a paradigm shift or a lifestyle shift, what would you recommend?
It is a book called If You Want to Write, written by Brenda Ueland, Ueland. She was a writing instructor, professor at the University of Minnesota. And this book is all about not listening to people who are naysayers, who say you can't write, you don't have a PhD in English, you've never been published before, and also not listening to your own inner voice telling you, I'm not an author, I haven't written, I haven't published, I haven't. And basically she's saying, if you want to write, for crying out loud, man up and write. And this book changed my life. And so now many people are not writers, but you can basically substitute any sort of profession for the word write. So if you want to be a real estate broker, if you want to program, if you want to podcast, if you want to draw, if you want to paint, if you want to make wooden tables, whatever it is, just substitute that word for the word write in this book. And I think it'll change your life.
And that was, again, I just want to make sure we get this right in the show notes as well. That's by Brenda Ueland?
Yes.
So you said? Okay, fantastic.
Yes, Ueland.
I'm looking, it was originally published back in 1938? Is that what is it that old of a book?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not that old, but it could be. I mean, very well could be.
Well, I pulled it up because I wanted to put it again, I'm an avid reader, so I have not read it, have not heard of it, and I want to get my hands on it. And I saw that it was originally most of her book published back in 1938, and they've done some revisions. And there's one paperback in 2010. But that's fantastic. But that's a sign of a good book, right? Is it has the principles that never die. So
I hope somebody 80 years from now says Art of Social Media first published 2014. My God.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be good. That would be a high quality problem.
Absolutely. So, Guy, before we depart, can you recommend the best way for our listeners to not only get more information on you, but also your book, The Art of Social Media?
Best place to get information on the book is artof.social. It's a new kind of domain, artof.social. For me, Guy Kawasaki on Google+, Guy on Facebook, Guy Kawasaki at Twitter. Any of those will show you what I'm doing.
Actually, I was about to say, you're not hard to find.
No, I'm not. Yeah, that's also kind of an IQ test. If you can't find me on the internet,
don't read the book.
You better pursue other careers.
You're going to find more than what you know what to do with. That's awesome. Well, Guy, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your book with us.
Cool. I hope that it helps people change the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening in today. If you'd like more information on Guy or on his book, The Art of Social Media, just check out the show notes at the elpodcast.com.
Looking for your next book idea? Head over to the elpodcast.com, where Wade shares his amazing resource, the top 10 business books recommended by over 500 entrepreneurs, with you for free. That's the elpodcast.com. Till the next time, keep it on the EL.